Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It is Wednesday. It is October 12th, and it's just about time for me to head off to choir practice. But I am so excited to get to share with you what I was able to accomplish today. I decided to work on the prompt for my animal adventures, and I am still doing my whip that is winter Quaker for the animal adventures up until I hit 6 of them, because this is the piece I want to push toward a finish this year. And so I decided to do 6 on this one and then do 1 on each of the other 2 for at least this month, and just to see, how well things were progressing. So today I did exactly what I said I was going to do before. I came over here and I worked on this side where it was all blank, and I needed to catch up with this side so I can roll my fabric back up and get all of this motif here in the working area and whatnot. So today I had to get 300 stitches, or I wanted to, for my I keep calling them Advent animals today. I must be getting in the Christmas spirit. My animal adventures. So I did this large motif first, because my prompt for my 24 hours of cross stitch for one of the O's that I needed was 1 motif on winter Quaker, and I wanted to do an entire motif. So I started on that one, and I did the entire motif, and I took a picture and I posted it in my 24 hours of cross stitch. And then I came back over here and I picked up where all of the snowflakes were, and I stitched them up here and around here and down to here. 11 snowflakes. They're all single-stranded, they're all back-stitched, they're all different patterns. Anyway, 11 of those. So I filled in that corner pretty well. So now I'm ready to roll this up, and then I can start. The next little highest star is right in here, so as long as I don't go too far down here, I'll probably stop around here. But I need to roll it on up so that I can get more of this here. So now I'm actually almost halfway finished with this row. I'm considering this to be in the row, so if that's the case, I need to finish this big motif, and then I can safely say I have 1 row left across the bottom. So it's looking more and more like I can get it done this year. I hope so. I'm certainly putting a lot of time into it here for my animal adventures in order to try to do that. So very, very happy about that. So I don't have any other stitching to share with you yet, because this morning I put up a video, so I took time to edit and do all of that, which took most of the morning. And then I had to go to the dentist for my normal checkup kind of thing, cleaning. And then my husband and I had a very late lunch. We ate lunch about 3 o'clock, 3:30, and now we're headed off to choir. So I don't know if I'll get any more stitching done tonight when I get home. Tomorrow I am cooking a large Mexican dinner for a couple of couples from our church, and just having some fun time and social time with them. And then Friday I should be open for stitching. I hope I get to talk to my friend Glow and stitch all day Friday. My husband's doing his long run, and usually when he's gone for a long run, it's a good day for me to stitch. He doesn't need my help with anything, which is great. This Saturday, of course, we are volunteering with the road race at the church, and we have to be there really early in the morning, like 7:15 or something. And I think we're going to be either at the start or the finish, because we have to be in a park, and my husband knows where it is. I'm just along for the ride. Anyway, I hope you have a good start to your week. It's about half over now, so I hope you've had a good stitching week, and I hope to have more stitching to share with you in the days to come here very shortly. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello again. I am back later this evening on Wednesday night. It is much later. I did not expect to get this much time to stitch when I got home this evening, but I'm so glad I did. I wanted to get one of my acrostics prompts done, and I had one piece, at least one piece, but one that I identified right away that was on both my magazine monthly challenge and my 24 hours of cross stitch challenge. And I like to do at least 200 stitches when I'm just doing an acrostic without any other prompt. So I thought, well, this will be easy to do. I'm going to pull out Early Christmas Morning by Blackbird Designs. And I had finished the roof on this house the last time that I stitched on it, so I thought, I'll fill in that house, at least one color of it, and that way I'll get my 200 stitches. So that's what I did. I worked on the house, and I got 2 colors done on the house, which means I got 321 stitches on it, so I'm really, really pleased with that. Now, I don't know what's going on with my counting these days. I don't know what I did wrong in here, but I did notice in the pattern in a couple of places, like around the door, it's only 1 row before they start a window and this and that and the other. But anyway, somehow I got off right in here somehow to where I didn't have room for another window. So I have just let the windows stop there together so that they look even. And so I am 1 window short on that side of the house. I'm not sure what happened there. And it's the counting on the inside somehow, I think, because the roof is fine. Anyway, I think it is. So I think the house looks just fine. It's at a glance. You can't really tell it. I'm happy with it. I'm okay with it. I got both my colors in there. So when I pick this up next, I can do the windows, the door, and the little walkway in front of the door, and I'll have the house completely done. I'm pretty excited about that. The windows in the pattern on the model are quite dark. You can barely tell that they're even there. And if I were to do that, you would never, ever notice that I was off in this house for sure. But I kind of like knowing there are windows there. So I'm probably going to do mine a different color. But there you have it, 321 stitches. One of my prompts in each of my 2 acrostics met. Love it. They both stood for E's. In each acrostic, it was an E, and that was for Early Christmas Morning. I'm really working hard to try to get a finish this month. I haven't had a finish this month yet. It's the 12th of the month. And I had hoped to finish at least one of my little Christmas starts every month before the end of the year so that I could have gotten, 5 or 6 of those additional pieces finished, but they're bigger, I've got very little stitching in them. So I've decided to concentrate on Winter Quaker because it's one of my bigger pieces and one of my older pieces. And so I'm going to give it extra time this month, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I hope you've had a good day. I certainly had much more stitching than I ever thought possible today, which is a great big surprise. But now I'm going to go downstairs and shred some chicken. I've been cooking chicken for a Mexican dish tomorrow night for our friends, and now I need to go shred it so it'll be ready for me to mix up in the adobe sauce and put in the enchiladas tomorrow night. So I have a little bit of cooking to do, and I'm going to go get that done now. And I bid you adieu. And until I see you again, happy stitching. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is Thursday, October 13th, and I have been working on 3 different prompts. All one thing. I love to do it that way. I have my Animal Adventures. This is a new project that I'm using for my Animal Adventures. It's the first one I've used to qualify for one of the animals I'm hunting for. And it just so happens that it's in both of my two acrostics that I'm trying to complete as well. And it is my Christmas sentiments. In my two acrostics for 24 hours of cross stitch and my monthly magazine challenge, it stood for an S, for sentiments. When I started this, I had finished the border, this bottom border. I had gotten from the bottom up through this top of that banner looking piece. So today I came over and I started on this tree, and I wanted to just start working almost like a banner on across the bottom of that. I needed at least 300 stitches today, and I got 316. So here's what I did. I started the tree so that it would be exactly centered where it needed to be, made sure I had that in the right spot, and then I went ahead and did all of the white snowflakes. It's in a pearl cotton. It's not in a single strand. It's a thicker pearl cotton that is called for. And then I reached in with my Weeks Dye Works ivy and I started working on the bottom of the tree. I've got this all the way across. Now I have to come back and do two on this side, and then I can go up and do the next row and the next row and the next row. But I stopped because I've got 316 stitches and we're having company this evening for dinner, and I've got to go get dinner started. So that's my stitching for the day. Don't know that I'll get to do anything else today, but I'm delighted that it was enough to reach 3 of my prompts today. I hope you've had a great day of stitching, and I hope to see you soon with more to show. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dino. It is October 14th. It is a Friday, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my stitching. So today I wanted to work on a prompt, a big one. This is one of my animal adventures. I always try to do 300 stitches on each of those, and today was no exception. I really wanted to hunker down and get this one done for my animal adventures, because now, after finishing this one, I can go back to my winter Quaker and do the last two, and I can get some really good progress, hopefully, on that this month. So today was Autumn Bell Pull, and this was interesting because yesterday, I think it was, one of my friends that I chat with quite frequently, almost every day, about stitching, my friend Mary, had showed a picture to my friend Donna and I of something she had hanging in her sewing room, and it was this Autumn Bell Pull, and it was beautiful. And I said, "Oh, Mary, I am on the second U. I'm just right here. I've got a lot more to go. That's really just over halfway." So I was so delighted that I had put it on my calendar to stitch the prompt today, since I had a big block of time. My husband's doing his long run this morning. So Coco and I took a walk, and then I got busy stitching this morning. So I made it 315 stitches, and I finished the 2 acorns because I got that color, and I finished this leaf minus the back stitching. I haven't back stitched anything yet, but that was 315 stitches. You can see I even color completed on down to here till my thread ran out on one of the colors. So I now have a big leaf. You can see where it kind of goes over the U right there. I have 3 little acorns in here, and then I have 2 leaves over here, and of course my lettering to do. So I wouldn't even say I'm quite halfway through with this letter. Maybe not quite that far, maybe a third of the way through. But I am farther than I was. So this is the beauty of what a prompt can do for you, because it makes sure that I have to touch this every month, which is wonderful. So I'm glad about that. I think it's coming along well. And now it's still early in the afternoon. So I'm probably going to grab my winter Quaker and put at least a few stitches in it, maybe enough for one more animal adventure. That would be awesome if I can. If I have time, that's what I'm going to do. So I will come back and share that with you if I'm successful. And whatever I do, I'll come back tomorrow and let you know what's going on. In the meantime, I hope you have a great weekend. And I'm going to go now and check the prompts that are going to be posted for today because it's Friday. I haven't even looked at them yet. I wanted to get my autumn bell pull done before I even looked and was tempted to do anything else. So that's what I did. But I'm going to check it out now and see what kind of prompts, if any, I want to work for in the coming week. Enjoy your stitching, and I will talk to you very soon. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is Saturday, October 15th, and this little section I'm doing right now is at a request of one of my viewers. She asked me if I could show how a pattern illustrates when you're supposed to stitch 1/1. So I felt like Teresa Winsler does a great job of charting that, and so I have pulled one little snippet out of her 1/1 charting for my nativity, and I'm going to share it with you. And I've color-coded it in hopes that it makes it clearer. I hope I don't confuse you. But anyway, if you have questions, let me know. But this is what I want to share with you. This is a normal cross stitch. This is a normal grid for cross stitch. And in 1/1 stitching, what you have is the normal square broken into 4 tiny squares. So what you've done is you've actually utilized the middle of every section to make it another tiny square. So there are 4 little squares in there. And the way you do that, of course, is you come up from the bottom and go down in the middle, come up in the middle bottom and go down in the middle on the side. And then you would do it again, utilizing your middles of each hole. That's why Ada is so hard to do 1/1, because in other fabrics you have threads. So all you're doing is going over 1 thread instead of 2. So you're doing an X over 1 thread, up 1 thread, over 1, up 1, instead of going up 2 and over 2. So Ada, you have to pierce the fabric because you don't have a natural middle on any of those sides like you do when you have even weave or linen. But the question is, how does it look on a pattern? So this is how it looks. So my blue line I've colored over what would be the typical pattern. So it just keeps that grid going. That's what it looks like on the rest of the pattern, is this big grid, and you've got your big squares, okay? 1/1, what you can see is, oh, there are 4 symbols in that big square. So to help you see that, I've put red where there's extra breaks in that square. So here's a big blue square right here. And then you see I've done the red to show you you're going to split that big square into 4 little tiny squares. And that's what they've done on this chart. And you'll notice they have symbols. This is one normal stitch, but they've got 2 of one symbol and 2 of another. So that means you do 2 of the tiny X's in that color, and then you switch colors and you do 2 of the tiny X's right here. So it's no different than regular cross stitch. The difference is your little blocks are smaller, and you are going to go over just 1 thread each way. 1 thread up, 1 thread over, instead of 2 and 2. So there you have it. That's what it looks like. It looks like they've, you know, gotten real busy in there. And they have, you know, they've got 4 symbols where you would normally have one or two, sometimes three if you have a quarter stitch. But, you know, normally you would have one big stitch across this whole square. And now you're not. You're going to have four. So here's another one where you've got two, one symbol, and two another. Now you'll notice, and this is, I think, just an extra for you. You notice how sometimes this runs out here outside the hand itself. So that's the reason the colors are changing. And I can tell you from experience, having worked on this pattern, this symbol will probably be the same symbol as these two big ones right here. That is why you've got them coming out here, because what they're doing is finishing off that square. Now this one is not finished, so I don't know what's supposed to go there. Isn't that interesting? Because it's not falling in a square, so that may just be blank. They may just want it to sit there with nothing in it. But you'll see there's one here like that and one here like that. When I find that on my pattern and it's not nice and neat, like this will be 1X, this will be 1X, and this one, it's not charted, but what I would do is use whatever colors out here, and I would do my little tiny one stitch there to complete that block, but I do it in the background, the same color that's out here. So I do that even if it's not charted. You see how these are all charted to make a nice square block. So there's 4 in each block, 4 in each block. So anytime you don't come out even, see, here's one hole, that's an even block. This little spot here and these two little spots here are the only two that don't make it a nice even block. So what I do to make my eyes feel better about it, if I need it, if it doesn't show, I don't worry about it. But if it looks like there's a gap, then I go in with whatever color is on the block next to it. And I just do a little one tiny cross in there. So that's what it looks like. I hope that's helpful. I hope that's not totally confusing. But that is what it looks like on a pattern when you're going to do 1/1 stitching. Thanks for letting me share that with you, and thanks for the question. That was an excellent question. And if you have some other tips that you want to share with people that are wanting to know how to read a pattern for 1/1 stitching, if you've got some good tips, please let me know and put them in the comments below so everybody can see them. Thanks for letting me share. Talk to you soon. Happy stitching. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Dina. It is October 17th, Monday, and it has been a wonderful day, and I wanted to share it with you. I wanted to tell you about my stitching and just a tiny bit of a life update. On Sunday, we had our son over for lunch with 2 friends of his. I think they're looking at maybe getting a house to rent together. And so I was excited to get to meet his 2 friends that are going to possibly be his roommates down the road. And we all had a great lunch together, spent some time playing board games together, just getting to know each other. Our family has always liked to play board games, and I was delighted that these gentlemen were willing to do that with us. I thought that was very sweet. Anyway, today I had a lot of erranding and business to do this morning, and then took Coco on a walk this morning and this afternoon. I don't usually get the privilege of doing that twice in a day unless my husband's off on a hiking trip. But today he was working with a group of men from our church, helping a lady out in our community. We got her information from a building association group who donated the materials for her to have a deck replaced on her home because she's now in a wheelchair. She needed a ramp, and we couldn't add a ramp to the deck she had because it was in terrible shape. So the gentleman, my husband and several men from their men's ministry group at our church met at her home this morning, ripped down the old deck, built a new deck with a ramp for her, and got it finished up about 6:30 this afternoon. So that meant I got to take Coco for a walk this morning and this evening. And this morning was quite uneventful, other than her sniffing everything, taking 15 minutes to sniff up and down, a little bit of our street. But she was very happy to do it. This afternoon, she got to see two of our neighbor dogs, Bailey and Chloe, and talk to them. She was just going by and wagging her tail and talking with them. And then on the way back, she got to play with her friend Loki. This was so funny. I was in the street actually talking to a neighbor who had pulled her car over to say hello and see how we've been doing and invite me to her home Friday morning for a pinochle game, which I've never played, so we'll see how that goes. But as we were talking, all of a sudden Coco was pulling really hard on the leash, and I asked her to come back, and she looked back at me like, "Don't you see?" When I looked, I could see Loki in the yard. She had spotted him, and she was pulling, wanting to go to him, so I just unclipped her leash and let her run on over and start playing with Loki. And then I walked on over and played with them and let them run and romp and threw the ball and gave them all the treats I had. Loki loves treats. But we had a great time. And then Coco was very happy to come home and take a nap. So that worked out well. But today, I didn't get to start cross-stitching until about 8 o'clock tonight. And that's pretty late for me to get started because I have a really early morning tomorrow. But I went ahead and looked at the list that I had made up. I made a little list up for the rest of the month so I could make sure I finished both of my cross sticks and make sure that I had time to start my new Start for WIPGO. And on today's assignment that I had given myself, it was to stitch on my Mirabilia Royal Games 1. And I have started on the Queen of Hearts. And so tonight, what I was stitching on, there's a sleeve or cloak that comes out here. Each of their gowns kind of takes part of the an angle. And this is hers right here. And I was able to finish 2 colors on that sleeve. And it was exactly 202 stitches. So this is the part that I finished. I had done part of this up here, and then I wound up getting, and there are actually 2 colors in there. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe now you can. There's an 814, which is the redder, more burgundy color, and then there's the purpley one, 159 or 194 or something in there. Anyway, I did both of those tonight. So 202 stitches was great because when I do on a cross stick and I'm not using it for another prompt, I like to get at least 200 stitches before I move on. So I did that today. I'm very excited to have done that. So I met my goal for the day, and now I'm gonna have to call it a night early. Getting up very early tomorrow morning, have some business to take care of with my husband. He has a doctor's appointment, and he asked me to go with him. There's nothing wrong. It's just that period of his life where he's going to check on his eyes and see if he needs to have cataracts removed. So we're just going in to talk with the surgeon tomorrow, but he wants me to go and help him listen and, see what his options might be and that sort of thing. So it's an early appointment. So we have to get up early because we have to take Coco for a walk before we go. All right, that's my stitching for the day. That's my life update for the day. I hope you're starting off with a great beginning to your week. And I hope I get to do a little more stitching tomorrow so I have more to share with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. It's Dina, and I'm here on Tuesday. It is the 18th of October, I believe. And I'm here to share with you my stitching and just a little tiny bit of a life update. This morning I decided, I couldn't stitch this morning because I had to accompany my hubby to an eye doctor's appointment, and everything's fine. And but he was hoping to talk to the surgeon about whether or not it was time for cataract surgery, and I'm happy to report that it's not. He's nowhere near that yet, so that's good. But we got to go to breakfast together, and then did some erranding, and then took Coco out. So I finally got to start stitching a little bit after lunch today, and I decided to do a prompt for my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic. And the one that I had slated for today was to fill in the D in the word friends in the acrostic Friends Who Count. And my D stood for duo of mice in my When Santa's Away, the Mice Will Play pattern from Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. And I'll remind you of what that pattern looks like. I saw it today on your Gita's channel. She was showing what she purchased at Galleria, and she had purchased this one. I'm hoping she'll start it this coming year, and maybe we could work on it together some. But I started mine, you know, in July for my 22 Christmas starts in July, and when I picked it up today, what I had completed thus far had been this little mouse right here and this little round ornament that's kind of hanging there that they're putting on their vines. So today I wanted to get at least 200 stitches for my acrostic. That's what I like to do. And then when I pulled it out and looked at it, I thought, well, probably the easiest thing to do would be to start on that vine that goes right by the little mouse I had stitched and connects him to the ornament that's hanging in the air. So that's what I did. And once I got started on it, I decided to set my goal for the whole vine, the green, this one green color, to do a color completion on that vine. I even got the little flower that's next to it, and these are all standing on top of the shoe. The top of the shoe will be across here. And I'm tickled to death to get that much done today. It's 333 stitches, and I am going to put it away until next time, but that certainly is more than enough to meet my acrostic, so I'm really happy about that. And that means I have only 4 patterns left to work on to complete the 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic. And I have 1 left in my monthly magazine challenge. And it's not on here, so that means I have 5 pieces I need to touch before the end of the month. Think I can do it? I think I can. I got time. I am trying to do at least 1 a day until I finish my acrostics. I'm trying really hard to do that. This is getting to be a very busy time in our year. It's already busy because we are learning Christmas music. And then now it's going to get busy because we're taking 2 trips between now and the end of the year. And then we have a huge trip starting January 1st. So we're going to do a lot of traveling. So I guess my big life update today is that I'm not getting to stitch as much, about 1 prompt a day, usually no more than 300 stitches a day, because I'm having to memorize a bunch of music, so I'm having to practice that a lot. I've been sitting here with my CD all morning, working on memorizing 2 songs. We have to have them memorized by Wednesday night, and I'm about halfway there, maybe 2/3. So I've got to work on that. And then again, traveling, trying to get ready to go everywhere. So it's just getting busy. You know, it'll be busy through the holidays. I usually have my Christmas cards written, addressed, and a Christmas letter written and in the mail by the end of the October. And I haven't started on the Christmas letter yet. and I just ordered Christmas cards today because I could get them with 23-cent shipping, and they were on sale 70% off on Current, and I like Current. So I ordered them today. They'll get here soon. And once they get here, I do have to take time out to address my Christmas cards. So, a lot going on. But I tell you what, stitching is really what calms me. And I can tell it when I don't do it enough. I can tell it. I feel more anxious. I feel a little more stressed. So I have to make time for it. I have to make sure at least a little bit each day if I can. So I hope you're having a great time of stitching. I hope you're getting to stitch a lot more than I am. I did pre-order my book of days for 2023. I have it on pre-order, and so I'm coming in here now to update what I stitched on today and put that away so that I can get back working on my music. I hope you're having a great time stitching. Thanks for letting me ramble a little bit as I feel a little disjointed today. And I hope to have lots more to show in the coming week as I'm trying to meet these last 5 prompts for the month. Happy stitching, everybody. Well, what a surprise. I'm back. It is later on Tuesday night, and I actually got time to stitch. I had a Zoom meeting tonight that I didn't have to be on camera for, and so I sat here and listened and stitched. I'm so excited. I actually got another one of my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostics met. And this is one, I'll admit, I struggled a bit to make myself stitch on. Once I made the decision that if this was not going to be Christmas this year, but would probably be a birthday next year, then I quit pushing so hard to get it done. And in so doing, I kind of lost my mojo on it. I just didn't feel motivated. So knowing that about myself, I put it down as one of my acrostics, and I actually wrote in my notes when I wrote out what I wanted to work on this week, I put this in there and said, or something else for C, because I was even giving my permission not to even touch it if I didn't want to. But I'm so glad I did, because stitching on it tonight, I fell in love with it again. It was just so much fun. So I'm talking about the Snow Folks Home at Home book by Alma Lynn is the artist. Jeanette Cruz is the one who published it. But I'm working on Mr. Mittens. And you know this is for a present for someone who collects clowns and they collect snowmen. So this will be the first combined piece that they've ever had for their collection. So tonight I only did 205 stitches because I was just doing for an acrostic, but that 205 stitches allowed me to really feel like I want to stitch on this now. I am excited about stitching on it now because I had such a good time with it today. So here's where I got to. I actually finished the tassels on the scarf. I don't have the little back stitching done yet, but I want to do that when I do some other back stitching right here together. I did the inside shirt and then started the coveralls. I finished the trim on both sides of the jacket. There was another color that had to go in there. And while I was working on these little coveralls, it has a darker purple and a lighter purple. And when I got to the lighter purple, it was easy just to go from block to 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 block till my thread ran out. So this, in essence, is about, it'll probably end around here. There's only another 1, 2, 3. There's about 4 of the blocks of the pant leg, and then there's a shoe. So you've almost got the whole size of this. And my thought on this, now that I'm going to have time to do it, is once I stitch it, I may make it into a stand-up. I have never made her a stand-up, and so I think that's what I'm going to do. But that's what my 205 stitches gave me, and it also helped me fall back in love with this piece. So that was well worth it. I won't be avoiding it in the future because I enjoyed stitching on it so much today. So there you have it. 2 prompts met today for 24 hours of cross stitch. A little over 400 stitches today. So not bad. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That's why I only put in meeting 1 prompt per day for the rest of the time until I hit all of them, because I didn't think I'd have any more time than that. But I'm tickled that I did. So I will close it up for tonight, and I will hopefully have more to share with you tomorrow. Happy stitching, everybody. Okay, here it is. This is a real snow job. I've picked it up today from Michael's, and this is the frame that my husband found for me and at a salvage store. And we took this frame to Michael's, and I picked the double mat, and we popped it in there, or they did, for me, and I think they did a fabulous job. It's sitting on the couch because it's too large for me to hold and talk to you about. You can't see it all at one time because it's a 20 by 24 opening in the frame. Now that the mats are taking up a little bit of that, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and it is going to go on the wall right above that couch. So this is in our main living room. When you walk in the front door, you look into this room. So when people walk in our house, this will be one of the first things they really can lay their eyes on as they step in. I'm going to go a little bit closer, try to step to the sides. You can see the reflection there of the light fixture. So I'm going to step this way just a little bit to try to keep that out of the picture. So I'm going to go in close. Isn't this beautiful? Just gorgeous. So pretty. And I really, really like it in that beautiful, beautiful frame. I like the way that the black in the frame is mirrored in the mat. That's what I was trying to accomplish. And that pulls those black doors right to your attention, and the main house, I think, to your attention as well. And the light blue is, or that gray blue mat is matched to the sky. And I think that helps you see the sky and pulls it all the way around. Some of that little gray is in the snow as well. But I will tell you, it's gorgeous. And my husband has promised to hang it up for me later this evening. So when it's on the wall, I'll try to get a good picture of it for you. But I just wanted you to see it framed because I think it's gorgeous. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It is Thursday, October the 20th, and I'm here to give you a stitching update for the day. So today, I decided I was going to take a day and stitch on a whip I'm trying to push to a finish. And I did that today because I went ahead and got my prompt met last night for the project I was supposed to stitch on today. So since today I was ahead a day, I decided I can stitch on what I want. And I want to finish this month. So this is my winter Quaker. And today I stitched this motif right here on the bottom. I'm so excited. I still have all of this motif, and this one to do, and all the little snowflakes around it. But I will tell you, I'm pretty excited that I got this motif done in one day, because I had originally thought it would take me 2 stitching sessions. But here it is. Isn't that lovely? I think it's really pretty. There are only 2 little stars down here, and then there are stars in between here, snowflakes rather, little snowflakes. And then there's the other 3 motifs that I have. And there are 2 little red birds at the bottom. But if I'm lucky and I have some good stitching days, I'm at the bottom. I'm actually on the bottom row. There's one motif right in here, but because this one on the end goes up so high, you can actually consider that one row across there. And that's kind of how I'm counting it. Anyway, I'm excited. So, that was my progress for today. Tomorrow, I've been invited to a friend's house to learn how to play pinochle. Wish me luck. I've never played pinochle before. So anyway, I will see what it's all about. And I will hopefully get a little stitching tomorrow night. This weekend is the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Marathon. And I would love to stitch at least Friday night and Saturday for the marathon. I don't know how much I'll get on Sunday because we're going out of town and with our son. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, tomorrow I need to stitch first on a prompt before I even pick this back up again. So that's kind of the deal I've made with myself. Stitch the prompt, and then the rest of the day you can stitch on this and see how far you get. Even if it's just a few snowflakes, you know, that's whittling away at what you got to do. So we'll see. But keep your fingers crossed for me. I hope to finish it this month. That would be a really big finish for me because it's been hanging out for a long time. Well, I hope you have had a great day today of stitching. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend starting tomorrow. Happy stitching, everybody.